Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my top 5 personal hardcore album recommendations. Yeah, this is for a video, just my opinion, of some of my favorite hardcore albums that I would recommend for someone, say, who's trying to get into hardcore music, learn more about hardcore, and just 5 albums I think are essential. And I got my little list here. I'm also going to be doing some honorable mentions towards the end. I'd also like to show off my outfit for today. I got a ruffled shirt, my jacket, teased my hair today, got my makeup going. So yeah, some blue jeans, just the double belt, whatever, and some Doc Martens. But the first album I'd like to mention is Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables by the Dead Kennedys. Now, the Dead Kennedys, I think it's debatable as to whether or not they're a hardcore band or just a punk band, like a classic punk band. I don't really think that matters so much. I think, whatever you want to call it, it's a really good band, and it at least was, if not hardcore, extremely inspirational for hardcore. Just start to finish, great album. There's a lot of social commentary going on in there. The musicianship is just terrific. A lot of people don't like Jello's vocals, but I think you just kind of have to have a taste for it. Jello's vocals are very theatrical, very out there, very weird. He's like that as a frontman. Jello's whole personality is very strange, but I think a lot of people will like that. I think for me, I really love it. I love seeing weird artists, weird frontmen, weird sounds, anything like that. Just anything strange, And yeah, just overall great album. And then my second recommendation would have to be Bad Brains' self-titled album. Oh my gosh, it's that album's definitely undeniably hardcore. It's just so heavy. There is some tracks that are reggae based, and if you're not into that, it's only like a couple of tracks. And I'm not too much into reggae, although I have to say that those tracks are really, really nice listens. But their actual hardcore tracks that are in there, which consists of the rest of the album, majority of the album, just really good, just really fast, really, the vocals are just so, that's another band where some people don't really like the vocals, but I think that they're awesome, just very, like it kind of sounds like the singer would be hurting his throat, like, you know what I mean, like, very screechy almost, just, but not in like an overdone way or anything. It's so perfect. Just please check out that album. My third album recommendation would be Damaged by Black Flag. It's just, it's one of those classic albums. Henry Rollins is a good vocalist, and he brings an energy to the band that is really awesome, I guess. I'm not very good at describing albums and stuff like that, so apologies if I'm using a lot of the same descriptors, but it's yeah, just a great album, just a classic, inspired so many people afterwards. It's a staple that pretty much everybody would say, yeah, you got to listen to that album at some point. Next up, I'd like to recommend the Group Sex album by the Circle Jerks. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's so quick. The runtime's like 15 minutes. It's super quick, super not necessarily heavy, but just really fast rock and roll. You know what I mean? Just down to the roots, what punk and hardcore were trying to attain, and it's just rock and roll pushed to its limits, you know what I mean? Just just really good shit. And Keith Morris, I love his vocals. Even when it comes to Black Flag, personally, I prefer Keith Morris as a vocalist over Henry Rollins. Just wonderful. And then number 5, we're gonna go over into a crossover band, DRI's what is that album called? Give me a second. Of course, it's Thrash Zone. I don't know why. Just, you know, I've heard that album 1,000 times and just could not remember the name of it for the life of me. Thrash Zone. Not really sure if it'd be considered hardcore, or I know crossover thrash, whatever. I don't. Once again, it's another one of those technicalities that to me just don't really matter. I just don't see the point in, you know, bickering over that kind of stuff. It's another one of those albums that are just really heavy, really fast, really, and there's a lot of good social commentary in that too. Even on topics you don't really hear so much in mainstream or in other more mainstream punk bands or rock bands, anything like that. So definitely a very good album to check out. And then we're going to go ahead and go into my honorable mentions. For the first honorable mention, I'd like to say Bedtime for Democracy by the Dead Kennedys. I didn't put that album on my main list because I think that the sound is a little less accessible. Like, you know how I was mentioning Jello as a frontman is very strange, I feel like the sound in that album is kind of pushing that boundary too. Not that it's necessarily strange, but it's just less accessible than Black Flag, Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. It's just not as accessible. For all these cuts, had to go tend to something. But, yeah, Bedtime for Democracy. I actually think that despite the sound being less accessible, the social commentary in this album is even deeper. And it especially comments on even, like, the hardcore scene and stuff like that, and, you know, all those words. And then my next recommendation isn't necessarily an album, but an EP, Black Flag's Nervous Breakdown. Like I said, I'm a huge Keith Morris fan. I love Keith Morris. This is from back when Keith Morris was the vocalist of Black Flag. And personally, I like this release more than Damaged. But I didn't put it on there because, 1, it's not an album, and 2, Damaged is just realistically more. 90% of people will recommend that one to you over Damaged, or over Nervous Breakdown. So maybe it's objectively better. I don't know, you know, if that's even such a thing. But no, Nervous Breakdown, it's the same thing as the Circle Jerks, where it's very fast, very just straightforward, you know, rock and roll. And I really recommend that EP. It's one of my favorites, you know. The runtime's on, it's only 8 minutes, I think, so it's definitely a quick listen. And then, let's see. Another one I'd like to recommend is Suicidal Tendencies' self-titled album. I believe it's a little longer than some of the other ones I mentioned, but it's also another crossover band, I think it's crossover. And, you know, everybody knows the song Institutionalized, but all the other tracks on it are so good. Once again, more social commentary. Shit, I'm surprised they even got away with, like, the song I Shot the Devil. Yeah, just another great album. Very fast, and the breakdowns in the album are so good, and yeah, just another recommendation. Another great album. And I think that's all for my honorable mentions. So like I said, I know I'm not the best at describing things. But the main point of this video was just giving people an idea of some albums they should listen to, you know. And I apologize that I haven't been making as many been making so many videos. I think my last like video in this format was a couple months ago. It's just hard getting ideas, and it's outside of this I got work and stuff like that, so it's kind of hard trying to maintain an internet presence or anything. And I want to be authentic, I don't want to forcefully mass produce videos or anything, because I think that's one of the good things about my videos is I just sit down and turn on the camera. I don't really do all that I don't really do all the editing and write a script and everything. I just want to be real with y'all, So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I should have more coming out eventually. If you guys want to check out my music, I'd really appreciate that. I have a solo work called Lord Parasite. I'm with a band called Electric Sound. You can find it. You can find music on YouTube. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, all the fixins. And I also post some of the clips on here, so And then you can add me on my socials. Lord Parasite on pretty much everything. And by everything, I use YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. That's it. But yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a great one.